start with the Anthony Davis-Giannis Antetokuonmpo head-to-head game tonight in Milwaukee. Davis's Pels have won 7 of the 9 meetings head-to-head, but the Freaks Bucks are a different animal this season. And Sekou, in a lot of ways, these two are the embodiment of positionless basketball in the NBA. You're talking about bigs with very high usage rates, expected to do a lot of different things for their teams.
Yeah, and really they are what I would say is the future of the league in terms of jumbo-sized guys who are as versatile as, a 6'3" point guard might have been, in a previous era of the league, Matt. I don't know that we could have seen Giannis coming the way we did AD. We knew it when he was in college at Kentucky that he had a chance to be one of the elite players in the league. Then he goes and plays in the London Olympics and gets an opportunity to be around the current, at that time, elite stars, and they all raved about what he was going to be. Giannis has been one of those pleasant surprises that we get in this league where you didn't know how good he could be. You knew he had talent and the raw materials. But what he's doing now, has been off the charts.
Drafted entirely on potential. Really, he was playing a low-level Greek league. They knew he was tall. They knew he was long and rangy. He'd been handling the ball there some, but they didn't see this coming. Nobody saw this coming when John Hammond and the Bucks drafted him.
No, and I love the revisionist history, how everybody, all the GMs that didn't draft him would have drafted him if only. Give John Hammond and that Bucks staff at the time a lot of credit for going out on a limb and drafting a guy that, this is a league, a copycat league in a lot of respects, Matt, where you're always trying to, reproduce something else that's been successful we've already seen. We never saw Giannis. We've never seen a guy who can dominate in the paint the way he does without it being a back-to-the-basket offensive performer. We're talking about a guy who faces the rim at all times, but is dominating in the paint the way, if you look statistically, like a Shaq did in his day. If you just look at numbers and points around the basket.
Sure, around the basket, and he's dominating as a guy who handles the ball a ton, still doesn't have a reliable three-point shot. In fact, by NBA standards, he's a terrible NBA three-point shooter and is still getting wherever he wants to go, even with that 3 happy Bucks offense, and doing, for the most part, whatever he wants offensively.
Well, and the interesting part is we see him on these warm-ups all the time. He's out working on his shot. He's out putting in all of the work to improve, but he's not rushing it in games, which is what I like about the way he's playing. Why would you not take advantage of all the things you can do if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo now and wait until you get proficient at that three-point shot to really unleash it and start taking it? Mike Budenholzer wants him to be a threat from that distance in his offense because that's what's made some other guys, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, previously into all-stars in that system. Giannis is already there. He's already a star. You don't have to worry about that. He becomes that next-level star when he does get that three-point shot down.
It's interesting because we've been saying that for years now, and he's nowhere near that at this point in his career. He's just not a good three-point shooter. Davis is spectacular. The numbers are incredible again, but it hasn't translated into consistent winning for the New Orleans Pelicans. I know they've had injuries, including some tonight, but they've basically, over the last couple of weeks, they've been a win-loss, win-loss, win-loss team.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that when they came back into this season, our expectation for the Pels was based on the way they went through the postseason last year. Sweeping Portland, competing at least with Golden State, not coming close to winning the series or anything crazy like that, but at least putting up a fight. We just assumed that they would come back and take that next evolutionary step as a group, and they haven't quite put their finger on that at this point of the season. I think there's still time, but now you've got all this other drama swirling around Anthony Davis's name. LeBron being asked about him. Free agency that doesn't exist for another season and a half for this guy is a hot topic. You wonder how much that wears on Anthony Davis and the Pelicans in the lead up to this postseason and whether or not they get in.
Well, they know, as we do, the clock is ticking to the time when they can offer him that extension, and he says yes or he says no, and that creates a whole different framework moving forward for the Pelicans.